Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how's it going?
It's going good, Steven. How are you guys?
I'm not complaining. Cannot complain. You see my hoodie?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to have one of those one day. If
StephenKnightShow.com.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'll send you my address, and maybe
What's what we can do?
special thank you.
Well, I'll let you and Chike take away movie reviews.
Sure thing. So the movie I saw this weekend was a new movie on HBO Max called No Sudden Move, and this is a crime drama directed by Steven Soderbergh, who's famous for like the Ocean's 11 movies, Logan Lucky, and whatnot. And it stars Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro as these two kind of low-level criminals in 1954 in Detroit, and they're set on a mission to essentially babysit this family while the father of the family is being taken back to his office to get some special document. During that whole time frame, things go wrong, and Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro find themselves in kind of a way of working their way up through getting this information, finding this document, and finding out how to kind of maximize their money out of what's going on. This movie has a huge cast of famous people. Besides, the two I mentioned: David Harbour, John Hamm, Brendan Fraser's in it, Kieran Culkin, who's most recently famous from that other HBO movie, Succession, or TV show. Ray Liotta, special cameo appearance by Matt Damon. It's got a crazy huge cast, and it was really good. It's definitely a kind of one of those slow burn thrillers where you're really getting the characters and you're really understanding them. And you see a lot of heist movies, and the stakes are high and there's some kind of wackiness going on here. But this and this is not a heist movie, but this is one of those movies where the situations feel really real, and you really want to know what's going to happen to our characters. So again, it's on HBO Max. Highly recommend it. Definitely worth checking out. And then the other thing I watched was Loki. So it finished up last week. We were able to binge watch it. It's another Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, of course, or TV series following the story of Loki. And I thought it was good. I thought it's only 6 episodes, but it's definitely quirky. It's kind of weird. It's more of that kind of WandaVision vibe, but very fun. And I think, and I don't know, Chike, if you saw it, but I felt like they were too much setup for a season 2, not enough of a cliffhanger, I felt like, for me. I later learned that they were setting up for the next Ant-Man movie and kind of leading into that. So definitely a fun watch, though, if you have Disney Plus and you're a fan of the MCU.
I didn't really gravitate toward Loki so much. I started watching it and then I stopped watching it. Maybe I'll go back and I'll revisit it, but it didn't hold my attention.
Yeah.
And as far as No Sudden Move, let's go back to that real quick. That was a surprise sleeper hit for me because there wasn't much publicity about it. You just kind of turned on HBO and it just popped on like available. I was like, oh, Don Cheadle, let's go. And so I was pleasantly surprised to see all that it had to offer.
Yeah,
it was a really good movie.
I was surprised that they didn't. So my wife told me about it. And she's like, "Oh, I saw an Instagram ad for it," and I was like, "Really? How did I not know about this movie coming out?" And yeah, they did no. I felt like no marketing for this movie, which is a shame because it's really good. And
this is definitely a word of mouth hit because people have been talking about it.
Okay, perfect.
So it's definitely something to watch. It's something to watch on a rainy day. It's something to watch on a sunny day. It's just a good movie. It's a good crime thriller. Yeah.
I will say this is not a movie you can like read a book or be on your phone because there's a lot going on and you really got to focus.
Yeah, you have to pay attention. So I don't know. Did you see Black Widow?
I did see Black Widow. Yeah. What did you think?
Did you review it already?
I talked about it, but yeah, you can definitely go into more detail.
Okay, so since Adam already touched on it, Black Widow is the story of Natasha Romanoff, one of the Avengers. And this chapter focuses on after Civil War, before the Infinity Stone. And basically she goes into hiding and she actually discovers a mission of her own where she's trying to eradicate the Red Room, because in her perception, she thought that the Red Room had already been eradicated, but she finds out that it hadn't been. And she actually goes on a mission to eradicate it. And she links up with her spy family, the people that she used to work with as a younger agent. And what's so funny about it is that family dynamics unfold from a family that wasn't a family. It was a spy family, but they still have dynamics and they start to unfold. So you get to see a little bit of her past and where she comes from and why she is and who she is. I thought that Marvel did an excellent job with the storytelling. And I want to say this about Marvel versus DC. What I'm noticing is that Marvel pays serious attention to detail in their story making, because every little nuance in these stories are nuggets and granules for the next story. So the Black Widow movie made me want to go back and watch the series again because of the great storytelling in this chapter of her life. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay, that happened. And then it makes you go forward. So they're telling stories in a way that they make you want to relive these stories over and over again for clarity. Very brilliant on their behalf.
Yeah, it's like a comic book, right? Like you pick a comic book now and you're like, well, what happened in this? And you just get into the world.
Yeah, exactly. DC, you got to step your game up. I don't know what's going on, but you got to step your game up. Justice League was all fine and all, your 4 hours and all, that was great, but step your game up. That was Black Widow. I saw 2 documentaries. One documentary is called Summer of Soul, which is directed by Questlove. Questlove, if you happen to see this, brother, I am such a fan of you outside of the music. You are a historian, you are a storyteller, and you are a documentarian. Never stop doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Apparently that there was footage lost for 50 years, and Questlove, being the historian that he is, found it and decided to make a documentary film about the Summer of Soul. And Summer of Soul basically happened at the same time as Woodstock, but it never got talked about. And it was a concert of African American music in Harlem at the same time Woodstock was going on. And you have groups like Sly and the Family Stone. What was it? The Fifth Dimension.
What about the Staples?
Yeah, the Staples
singers. I didn't even
singers.
know Mavis Staple was part of a group. I just thought she was a solo artist.
Well, yeah, no, she
Night?
started out.
Was Gladys Knight? I know she was on a documentary.
Gladys Knight and the Pips, they were there.
Yep.
And actually, the Staples singers, they were actually sisters. They were children when they first started. So they started out really young. I remember reading Aretha Franklin's book, and they were all children together on the gospel circuit, singing as children on the Chitlin circuit. So it's really interesting to see that and to know that that footage was lost for 50 years.
Yeah.
And they decided to make a movie out of it. Well, Quest decided to make a movie out of it. I hope we see more films from him, you know, in this genre, because he's awesome. I don't know if any guys ever listened to, and I'm plugging his podcast, Questlove QLS podcast. It's awesome. His interviews are awesome. They go down rabbit holes and they discover stuff in history, and you can hear him. You can hear his brain ticking, putting things together. And you can tell that there are going to be more documentaries to come from him over the subject matter that he talks about on his podcast. So stay tuned for Quest. There should be more films from him coming.
I went to go watch that movie, but I realized I don't have Hulu anymore because when I left Sprint, they gave you a free, subscription, and then I left Sprint and now it's gone. So I have to buy Hulu. I want to watch it.
It's great. It's definitely great for musicians that are historians.
Yeah. I reviewed that last week, and we have, we lost we had some issues with the file. So Chike, I did see Black Widow and Summer of Soul last week, so that was the catch up on that.
Okay, and I have one more. The one and only Dick Gregory is another documentary, which is airing on Showtime, and it follows the life of comedian Dick Gregory, which was pretty insightful for me because how Dick Gregory came on my radar was his health mix, is like his Bohemian diet. That's when he came on my radar. I had no idea well, I found out that he was a comedian during that time, but I had no idea he had this whole life before the Bohemian Diet, and he was this world-changing comedian who pushed issues and dealt with the civil rights and all that stuff and walked with King. And he was just such this great individual who was about equality, and he was about education, and who was about being the best person you could possibly be and pushing lines and breaking ceilings. And he was just that dude. Definitely check that out. It was a great documentary. I have more respect for the man. You know,
Nice.
he's passed away, but I have great new respect for Mr. Dick Gregory.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm watching right now the show called Manifest on Netflix. It's a series.
I hear great things.
Yeah, I was convinced watching it. It's about there's this flight and they have this turbulence, and then they think about the crash, they don't crash, but there are issues landing them. And when they land them, they ask them to all kind of, keep to the side. And they're thinking, why can't we go to our families? They took off. They landed 5 years later. Everybody thought they were gone, but really they're coming back, and it's 5 years later. They have not aged, they have not grown, but their family members have. One woman, her boyfriend married her best friend. One woman, her mom had passed away while she was gone. There's a lot of things that happened. So they're trying to navigate through this, trying to get back into normal life, but they keep having these they keep hearing noises. Some of the cast are hearing noises and weird things are happening. So I think I'm only on episode 3, but it's good so far.
Nice.
Big Brother, that's my show. It has got off to a really great start. I was telling Adam last week, the cast is very diverse. Like, they have a lot of African American people, they have a lot of white people, they have an Asian guy, they have a Hispanic girl, I believe she's Hispanic, mixed. I think she's Hispanic and black, and they have gay, straight, bisexual, whatever. But it's a really interesting cast. Well, they had the first HOA, this guy named Frenchie. Frenchie, to me, his time as HOH is kind of like Donald Trump in office. That man, and he liked him. Like, when you first met him, when they were introducing the cast, and he pretty much guaranteed safety to everybody in the house. He told all the women that he would never put up a woman for the first round. Puts up a woman.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like, and people are still following him, but it's starting to explode. So they have a new HOA from yesterday, Killian, who I really like, Killian. But it's really good. They're playing in groups of 4 this time, but a lot of the black cast have an alliance together called the Cookout. But they also have other alliances within the house too. But I thought it was just cool. But yeah, I mean, it's really good, really good. So it comes back on Wednesday, so I look forward to seeing what happens. Oh, Killian put up 2 people, and I thought he picked the best 2 people to put up, by the way. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, Big Brother. All right, well, guys, anything coming out of the pipeline?
Nothing major for me yet, but every week's an adventure. I discovered this movie, No Sudden Move, so I'm looking forward to finding the next one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I started watching Fear Street on Netflix. What interests me is that it was in parts, so that it instantly pulled me in. So I'm down 2 parts. I'm going to finish the 3rd, and then I'll talk about it.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, always thank you for letting us know what to spend our time and our money on and whatnot. And have a great week.
All right. Thanks, you too.
All right.
See ya.
Right back after this.